Hello everyone! I hope you are all having an amazing day. Let me know if there are any issues with the audio or the video as usual. Hello Greg, hello Heidi, how are you guys? Oh Greg, it's actually surprising. You definitely know what liminal dreaming is, but it usually goes by a different term. Or you've probably already been practicing it actually. So we will definitely be getting into liminal dreaming and what that is today and how to practice it. And a lot of us, if you are in the lucid dreaming community, you've probably been practicing it without realizing it, which is great. So, you can't hear anything? Can anyone else hear anything? Labyrinth, how are you? Eric, what is going on? I just proved to myself that I am on the old time schedule. Like expecting live stream. We are back in the Lucid Grove. Yes, we will be starting at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time from now on every single Monday. And if the stream needs to be changed or the time needs to be adjusted, I would join the Telegram chat because I'm posting in there when I go live, if I need to reschedule, all of that good stuff. T by the Sea, hello everyone. Okay, great, awesome. So first of all, it is so great to see you guys again. As you can tell, we are starting to create normal content. Not only am I going to be doing the regular daily sleep meditation tracks, but I am also going to be incorporating guided meditations soon and basically daily lucid dreaming content as well. So you guys are actually going to be getting double the content than you were getting before. So that's pretty awesome, and I'm really, really excited to bring that to you guys. Another thing is as you guys know, my YouTube memberships are paused temporarily. I should be getting that fixed at the end of this week, but I am going to be revamping my Patreon, and there's going to be a lot of benefits to my Patreon as well, and people who support me on Patreon will also get exclusive content just like my YouTube members. It's going to be the same content, just depends if you want to support me on Patreon or here on YouTube, where everything's all in one place. Totally up to you. But I wanted to let you guys know what's coming up and the benefits that you guys are going to be receiving soon from my content. I have to deal with that on Sunday, actually, Greg, with YouTube. They did think that my channel was like spam or something for a little bit because of all the meditations I was uploading while I was taking care of my grandmother in hospice and grieving. So I do have to kind of deal with that this Sunday so I can get my perks back and I can get my memberships back so I can start creating exclusive content and more content for you guys. So it's been a little bit silly, Greg, but I know that everything is happening in our favor on this channel, and I know that I will be getting those perks back soon so I can start to provide more content for you guys. So aside from the YouTube memberships, the content that's coming out, and Patreon, by the way, all links are in the description. If you have questions about any way that you can support me or even get in touch with me on different platforms and work together, all that stuff, everything is in the description. Yvonne, how is it going? So I'm really excited about this video because the last workshop I did, which was just on the 5th, 5 days ago, was about liminal dreaming and how we can practice liminal dreaming and what liminal dreaming even is. And if you're in the lucid dreaming community, you're probably practicing liminal dreaming already, but they are called something different usually. So we're going to get into that. And it is something that you can practice literally at any time. You do not have to be in REM. You do not have to be asleep. You're actually not asleep when you practice liminal dreaming. So I'm excited to chat with you guys about that today. So of course, if you have questions about what we're talking about today, please leave it in the chat and I will try to get to them. But let's start with what lucid dreaming is and what liminal dreaming is. That way we can talk about the difference. So as you guys know, lucid dreaming is when you are conscious of the fact that you are dreaming when you are in REM sleep. So you're asleep during a lucid dream, right? And most of the time in a lucid dream, there's some sort of theme or there's some sort of storyline, right? There's like a cohesive theme or story that is being played out in the lucid dream. And you know that you are asleep and you know that you're dreaming when you are lucid, right? So that is what a lucid dream is. A liminal dream is actually the state on the edges of sleep. Does this sound familiar to anybody? On the edges of sleep. So before you fall asleep and as you're waking up. You might call this hypnagogia as you're falling asleep and hypnopompia as you're waking up. The hypnagogic state and the hypnopompic state. These are the liminal states of consciousness. So this is the swirling colors, flashes of light, little pieces of dream images, random thoughts coming in your head that don't make any sense. That is the liminal state. And we can actually learn to really be in this state for a prolonged amount of time. And you can actually stay in the liminal state for even like hours, which you might have done if you've been trying to induce a lucid dream and you're kind of stuck in the hypnagogic state. You're like, I see all these colors and flashing lights, but I can't get past that. That is the liminal state of consciousness. So when we talk about liminal states, I am referring to the kind of hypnotic, kaleidoscopic, colorful imagery and state that you would experience if you are riding the edges of wakefulness in sleep. So, liminal, subliminal, yep. There's something you're catching on to, Eric. And a lot of the meditations that I create on my channel do have binaural beats that do support the liminal state of consciousness. So you may notice if you listen to these, you just close your eyes and you concentrate on the music. You're anchoring yourself into this waking reality by using sound, but you're allowing your mind to go to a deeper place. So what's cool about liminal dreaming, and we'll get into how to actually practice liminal dreaming, is liminal dreaming is really just when you are extremely, extremely relaxed, but you are allowing yourself to kind of dip maybe in and out of sleep, or you're just very, very relaxed and you're in non-sleep deep rest. So, yes! So, but when you are in the liminal state, you totally know that you're awake. You can hear what's going on. Let's say that you're on the couch and you're closing your eyes and you're just allowing yourself to breathe and you're carrying yourself into this deep state. You might start to see colors flashing. You might start to see little pieces of light. This is where we get random ideas and dream images and we start thinking about things that don't even make sense and you're like, am I even awake right now? What's going on? That's because you're accessing the subconscious. You are in the liminal state. So, when we're in the liminal state, we can feel the couch or wherever we're sitting or laying. We can hear what's going on around us. We are totally present that we are awake, but our mind is being carried to a different place. And this is when we really enter, it's almost like accessing a theta brainwave. It's that deep kind of meditative state, but you are still technically awake. That is the liminal state. So if you are ever in the passenger seat of a car and maybe you have a long drive ahead of you, you can close your eyes and you can access the liminal state. And this is a great place to get ideas, to process and heal trauma. It increases your creativity. And this is where I get a lot of ideas from, actually, is from the liminal state. So let me pull up the document that I actually created on liminal dreaming just to list the benefits that I have on there for liminal dreaming, because it is a very powerful practice that I do use regularly. So, working with liminal dreams can improve sleep, reduce anxiety and depression, help to heal trauma, and aid creativity and problem solving. You're accessing a whole new state of consciousness by using this state. Anytime I feel kind of stuck in my business, or I don't know what decision I should make, or maybe I'm trying to come up with new content even, I will set that intention before, and I will allow myself to go into a deep state of relaxation. I am surrendering, I am taking my conscious mind out of it, and I am being receptive and open to whatever decides to come up for me. And I will have to wake out of this state and hurry and grab a notebook and write things down, because it's amazing what comes through when we access these liminal states of consciousness. So if you are practicing lucid dreaming, you are probably familiar with these states already, because hypnagogia is a sign that sleep is coming, right? And we can either lose consciousness at that point, or we can anchor our consciousness and allow our mind to be carried deeper into this state. You may also notice this when you turn off your alarm in the morning and maybe you want to close your eyes for just a couple more minutes. You are accessing the hypnopompic state, which is literally the liminal state after you wake up. So again, it's the brackets between sleep as you're falling asleep and as you're waking up. Those are the liminal states, and allowing yourself to relax and be in those states for a prolonged amount of time is liminal dreaming. Hello, love yourself. How are you? Yes, Greg, you do get that in the morning. That's probably what you're experiencing. Absolutely. I wonder if the famed sleeping fist style of Kung Fu has... You never know. I bet there is probably some sort of connection there. Now, this state is amazing on its own, but it can also help us with lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences, because what is the main thing that we have to practice to enter these states? Can anyone guess the one thing that all of these states have in common? What is the one thing that we need to be able to practice and anchor for liminal dreaming, lucid dreaming, and out-of-body experiences? It's one word. I would love to hear what you guys think that is. Because knowing that and focusing on that alone will help you improve in all of these states and be able to access them for longer or stay in them for longer. Love it, love it, love it, Eric. Mindfulness. Awareness, exactly. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Awesome. So that is what all of these states have in common. It is not about trying to change the experience. It's not about trying to really induce something in particular, but it's allowing us to stay aware and mindful as we're carried out throughout this process. This is why if you're trying to keep yourself awake when you're trying to induce a lucid dream, you have to count. Or you have to focus on your breathing, or maybe you create kind of a dream scene in your head, right? You're trying to anchor your awareness. So relaxation is absolutely tied in with that, Greg, because we wouldn't be able to really access these states without relaxation, but especially awareness and mindfulness. So even just practicing liminal dreaming, even for a few minutes a day if possible, which I recommend more time than that because it's so easy to practice, but that will actually help you in your lucid dreaming techniques and your out-of-body experiences as well. So how can we get into this? I want to kind of guide you guys through how I kind of get into this. It's very, very easy to access. Again, all it really takes is closing your eyes, finding a nice relaxing place. I like to take a few breaths to induce the relaxation, Greg. We cannot access these states without feeling relaxed. So I will find a nice quiet place. You can either sit or lay down. I usually take 3 really deep, long breaths before I get into the liminal state, before I fall asleep, before I meditate, before I practice lucid dreaming. That is the main thing I do. Find a comfortable space. I take 3 nice, long, deep breaths, and then I'm ready. So I'm going to kind of show you guys what I do. So if you have a spot you can sit in or lie down in and relax in, go ahead and do that. Again, this is going to be just a quick example of kind of how I guide myself into this state. That is perfect, Greg. That is actually a technique as well, is to find something in your environment that can anchor your awareness. For a lot of people, it's sound. So if you have a clock, then that's perfect. Maybe you have a diffuser going, like an oil diffuser, and you want to anchor in your awareness by smell. You can totally do that. Finding any way to kind of anchor your awareness and give it something to focus on, that is perfect. That will help create and prolong awareness. So awesome, Greg, for sure. I've been liminal dreaming before bed. Oh, that's perfect. See, that's an example of when we carry our awareness so deep, we start to disassociate with the physical body because our brain cannot tell the difference between something we are imagining, something we are dreaming about, or something that's actually happening. So when we carry ourselves into the liminal state, the brain is so occupied with that world that we are seeing we start to kind of disassociate with our body, which is why we can have spontaneous out-of-body experiences. The thing that makes it hard to have out-of-body experiences is when we are uncomfortable, right? When we have too much on our mind, when we just, because we're so anchored in the body and the physical sensations that it actually makes it hard to make that separation. So I love that you do that before bed. I try to anchor my awareness as long as I can before I go to bed, and as soon as I wake up, I try to at least spend a few moments there to not only recall my dreams. Liminal dreaming actually helps you recall your dreams in the morning if you try to linger in that state, but also to kind of create the energy that I want to have throughout my day. Yes, I love that. With liminal dreaming before bed, I imagine the feeling of weightlessness, like I'm floating in space. That's like my favorite visualization to do. So that is the main thing that I visualize when I'm in these states. So everyone, take a second to get comfortable. When you are doing this, you don't have to, like in your own time, you don't have to have a sleeping mask on or anything, but it does help block out excess light. That way you know for sure that whatever you are seeing, whatever is coming in your awareness, you know it is from the hypnagogic or the hypnopompic state, and it's not like sunshine coming through. So a lot of the time you can, and I probably would recommend playing around with using a sleeping mask and seeing how that's different from not having a sleeping mask. Hello, Stefan. How are you? Okay. Everyone get comfortable, but just keep in mind that you can use a sleeping mask, or you can even put your hands over your eyes if you do this in your own time. I'd probably recommend having something over your eyes so you don't have to like sit there and put your hands over your eyes, but I do that sometimes when I'm in the liminal state, and you'll notice immediately the imagery changes. So it's kind of fun to play around with. But I'm going to kind of show you guys how simple it is to access the liminal state. So everyone get really, really comfortable. Looks like we're blurry. Okay, we're back. Everyone get really comfortable and gently close your eyes. I want you to take a really nice, deep breath in through the nose. Nice, long. The deepest breath that you can. Hold that air in your diaphragm. And when you exhale, I want you to kind of puck your lips like you're sucking on a straw. And I want you to push all of the air out using your diaphragm and see how much air you can actually push out. This will help you make the next inhale deeper because you're pushing out all that excess air. So pucker your lips a little bit like you're sucking on a straw. Try pushing out all of that air, exhaling fully. You should feel your diaphragm contract and kind of meet the back of your spine. Try to release as much air as possible. We're getting out all that stagnant air, all that stale air. Now, inhale through the nose as much air as you can. You will notice that you can actually breathe a lot deeper now. Now that you have gotten out that stagnant air, I just want you to take a couple more deep breaths in and out. Remembering to pucker your lips and use your diaphragm to push out all of the excess air on the exhale. Then one more nice, deep, full inhale. And I want you to make an intention here with this next inhale. I want you to inhale your intention. What is your intention for this little experience that we're going to go on together? Is it to feel more relaxed? Is it to get an idea about something in particular? Is it to get better sleep tonight? Whatever it is, I want you to make your intention and breathe that in through your nose. Hold in that intention, seeing it is done. And when you're ready, I want you to make an audible exhale. Just like that. What this also does is it stimulates the vagus nerve when we make an audible exhale and tells the body that it's okay to feel relaxed, that we're safe, turns off the fight or flight response. Feel free to do that a couple times if needed. This will also really help if you try this before bed, just doing those deep breaths like, it tells the body, oh my gosh, we're relaxed, we're safe, we're calm. So take some time to do that Once you have found a nice space right here and now to relax in, keep your eyes closed, and I just want you to become aware of the darkness behind your closed eyes. I want you to find a fixed point to look at. I don't want you to be looking all around with your eyes closed, because that could cause some of the imagery to actually disappear when it shows up. So I want you to try to find a fixed point ahead of you, and you can go slightly up or you can look slightly down, whatever's most comfortable for you, but find that fixed point and just become aware. And as you do this, we're going to switch our perception. We're not going to see the blackness under our eyes as a black wall, for example. We are going to see it as a forest. There's depth there. It's not like we're looking at something. We're looking into something. We're looking through something. Now, once you make that perception switch and you start to look into the darkness instead of at the darkness, you may start to see little things come up, and I want you to just be aware what comes up. We're not trying to induce anything, and we're not trying to change anything right now. We're just seeing what comes up naturally. You may see a little flash of light. You may see different colors starting to swirl in your vision. And you may just be perceiving blackness right now, and that is totally fine as well. We just want to become aware of what's happening without judgment. Again, we're not trying to change anything. Now, if you want to experiment with this, you can gently put your palms on your eyes, just covering your eyes. That will create a much deeper kind of darkness that we're looking at, and you may notice more images come up when you do this. So if you want, you can put your palms over your eyes, and this will kind of just show you how a sleeping mask can actually change the visuals that we see. Notice the differences from when you don't have anything on your eyes to when you decide to put your palms over your eyes. Do you notice things that maybe you didn't notice before when you weren't covering your eyes? Are there any shapes that you see? How many colors do you see right now? And they may be shifting, they may be changing. Just become aware of them. You may see certain shapes that kind of make out certain objects. So just become aware of what's kind of forming naturally, still trying to hold that fixed point with your eyes closed. And again, if you have your palms over your eyes right now, just see what's coming up when there's extra darkness to work with. Does that change the depth of your visuals? Does that change the color or the shape of them? Now, I definitely recommend just becoming aware while you hold your palms over your eyes for a moment, because you're going to notice your vision try to adjust to the darkness, and you may see movement now in the images. They may be changing. For me in particular, I often see a huge circle or something that takes over my whole vision, and it shrinks right in front of me and it keeps starting over. So that's what I'm seeing right now. So just become aware of any movement that you're seeing with your eyes closed. Now you can absolutely linger in this state, and again, the more kind of sleepy you become when you practice this in your own time, the more it's going to show up. Because again, when we kind of start to carry ourselves into a deep relaxation on the edge of sleep, we're kind of closing down the conscious mind and allowing the subconscious mind to open naturally, which will allow more ideas to come up, more visuals, more colors, more feelings, even more sensations. Now that we've taken a moment to observe what naturally comes up, and again, you can practice this for a prolonged amount of time in your own time to see what comes up naturally. But now I want you to try to influence what you see. So I want you to choose one thing. It could be an actual object. It could be a shape. It could be a texture. or a color. And I want you to focus on that. And you might not see that now, but I want you to imagine that you do. If you are imagining or attempting to see a door, imagine what it would be like to stand in front of a door. What color is it? What texture is it? How far away are you from the door? If it is a shape, really tune into what that shape looks like. Try to imagine walking around the shape as well. How does that change? If you are imagining a texture, if that's what you chose to visualize here, even if you don't see it, I want you to imagine that you do see it. What would it feel like to touch that texture right now? You can probably almost feel it on your fingertips. What we're doing is we're making these visuals more real. And the more real we can kind of create them in our mind, again, the brain can't tell the difference between something we're imagining or something that's actually happening. So it's going to start to put more energy into what we're imagining, and it's going to become more colorful and more real. So I want you to stick with what you chose to imagine. Again, whether it's an object, a shape, a color, a texture. And just notice what focusing on that does. What happens when you focus on seeing that? Now, if you don't have your palms over your eyes, maybe try putting them over your eyes now and just seeing how that changes what you see based on what you are attempting to create under your closed eyes. Does it make the texture or shape or object you're trying to imagine more clear? What does it do to have that extra bit of darkness with your palms of your eyes? And again, you can experiment with having them off your eyes, putting them on for a moment just to see how that kind of shifts. And this will kind of show you the difference between having a sleeping mask on and just doing this practice without anything covering your eyes. Now, without me talking to you guys in this video, if you decide to practice this on your own, you're going to be in silence, or you're going to have some background noise on, and you're going to be able to go so deep because you won't have to concentrate on anything like someone's voice, like my voice right now. So you'll be able to totally just kind of surrender to whatever's showing up under your closed eyes. And again, if you go into this with an intention, you will start to get ideas or feelings or see things that kind of have to do with that intention. So again, we're just noticing what's coming up as we're imagining that one thing that each of us chose. Take a nice deep breath here and see how that kind of changes the visuals that you see. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, holding that at the crown of our head. And a nice exhale. Do you see what looks like TV static? That's something I see pretty much all the time under my closed eyes. Does that shift or change at all? Now what I want you to do is slightly put a pressure on your eyes with your palm. So it's almost like, you know, when you rub your eyes and you start to see all of those colors, we're going to slightly put that amount of pressure on our eyes. So just barely that amount of pressure, very gentle. But you will notice that that also induces different visuals, right? And this is how it will start to look the deeper you go into the liminal state. And you will start to see objects that look very, very real and may startle you for a moment in the experience. Because it literally will look like you're looking at a movie screen and then the image will go away really quick. So what we're seeing now is just a taste of how vivid and crisp these images can get. So now I want you to kind of start to wiggle your fingers and toes. We're going to start to kind of become aware of the spot that we're sitting or we're laying in. Maybe take a nice deep breath to kind of awaken the body. Maybe move your eyes around with your closed eyes, just to kind of get some movement going. And when you are ready, Go ahead and gently open your eyes. Come back to where we are sitting now. Now it's that easy to start to induce some visuals in the liminal state. Hello, Jason. Welcome. Now, I was mentioning earlier that you can have a lot of creative ideas come through during this state, a lot of images, and it could be hard to write down, right? Because we don't want to wake up out of the experience. So one challenge I want to give you guys, and this is actually the challenge that I gave the class that I taught last, was I want you to practice getting in this state in your own time. One thing I want you to practice, though, is having a voice recorder going, or like talk to text or something going. And as you're in this liminal state practicing, I want you to speak out loud what you're seeing, even if it's something completely random, because now we're creating a log of it, right? You're not going to be able to wake up every 2 seconds and write down what we saw, but you're awake, so you can utilize your voice. So for example, say that I go and practice the liminal state later. I'll have my phone recording just so I can keep track of what I'm seeing. I might have it on my chest and I'll just speak out loud what I'm seeing as I'm seeing it. Table, wooden fence, color blue, family having dinner, beach scene. Like, you're just gonna say whatever you see, even if it's the most random thing ever, right? And then once you're done with being in that liminal state, you're gonna review the things that actually came through. And we're gonna see if there's any connection in them, or if there's anything that kind of ties back to the intention that you had. Love yourself. Looks like looks like you had a good experience. Wow, that's so great. So I want you guys to try that. That's a challenge that I would love to kind of offer you guys to see what happens in your own time, is to have a voice recorder going, or talk to text going, or something while you're taking, you know, a few moments in the liminal state. And then after, just kind of review the audio, or however you decided to record what came through, and just kind of review it. Maybe keep a log of it. Maybe you have a liminal notebook where you write down all of the random images that came through. Maybe they'll be more useful later. Maybe they're premonitions. This is a dreamy, powerful state that we can access at any time without being asleep and without being in REM. And so just like we can set intentions before we get lucid, we can also set intentions here. And it's a very easy way to process your trauma, to get really creative ideas, and to also release anxiety or depression or stress that we don't have to carry on. It's a really good, like, detoxing state of consciousness, and it has many, many, many psychological benefits as well. I know, right? Like, the shrinking thing that I see, it literally covers your whole vision, and it will go like this, and just keep disappearing in my liminal state. That is the liminal state. So if you guys are experiencing that, I definitely experience that almost every single time. And they'll just kind of like, they'll start covering your entire vision and just kind of repeat. Sometimes this is actually how, I don't know if I told you guys the first time that I induced a lucid dream on accident. And I did talk about this on my channel before. It was a while ago, but I remember I was really little and I had to go to bed early for some reason, or my mother sent me to my room earlier for whatever reason. And I remember that I just laid in bed with my eyes closed, and you know when you can't get to sleep, so you just have your eyes closed and you're just thinking for a prolonged amount of time? That's what was happening. I had my entire room blacked out. I remember laying on my right side, and I didn't even know what a lucid dream was at this time, so I really did not try to induce anything in particular. Yes, I always describe it as kaleidoscopic, so that's exactly how I describe it. So I'm really little, right? I'm laying in bed on the right side, and I didn't know that it was called hypnagogic imagery or that I was in the liminal state. I just knew that when I lay there for a long time, I start to see these fun colors and these interesting colors. And when I would lay down, and this is something I did all throughout my childhood, I would play with the colors by moving my eyes. So I would be able to look at one of the colors of the shapes, and depending on where I moved my eyes, that's where the color or shape shot to, and then it would just kind of trickle down my vision, and I'd be able to keep moving it by moving my eyes, if that makes sense. So the colors started getting really vivid. Like no other night, or like pretty much every other night, right? Pretty normal. So I was just sitting here watching these colors, and I started to try to move them. You know, I would kind of look up, and then it would kind of shoot the colors up, and they would trickle down. So I would kind of play with the hypnagogic imagery based on where I was looking. But something different happened this time. I started to feel, and sleep paralysis literally hit me so hard, but I didn't know what it was at the time, right? I was just this little girl, like, oh yeah, there's fun colors I like to play with when I'm going to sleep. But all of a sudden, I felt this intense vibration, and it was like, it wasn't a gradual heaviness that comes over sometimes when we get into sleep paralysis. It was an immediate boom. I just remember seeing these colors, and all of a sudden, boom, I felt that really big heaviness. And I started to feel these vibrations and hear these really intense noises, which, as you guys know, when you're in sleep paralysis, you really do experience a lot of auditory hallucinations. And one of the ones I experience a lot is, it's like a really high-pitched sound, and then it's like you can hear the static of the physical vibrations, if that makes sense. And so I didn't think anything of it, but I also had a feeling not to move, because I didn't want to mess it up, I think. And all of a sudden, the colors started to get a lot more vivid, and all of a sudden these colors formed into a full dream scene. But what's interesting is the vision came last. So what I mean by that is, I was in sleep paralysis, I was seeing all those colors, and then all of a sudden I could feel myself on a boat. I could literally feel myself rocking, and I was like, okay, what is going on? And then I heard the water. So now I'm like, what is going on? The last thing I remember is I'm in bed, and now all of a sudden I'm feeling like I'm rocking on a boat, and I hear water splashing like I'm literally on a boat in the ocean or something. And then my vision opens up, and I'm literally on this little canoe thing by myself at this tropical beach, maybe like 50 yards out from shore or something. And it's a beautiful day. The ocean is extremely blue. It's like the perfect tropical dream that you try to imagine. And that was, of course, my first lucid dream. And I was like, wait, am I dreaming right now? I was so blown away that I was able to just go from completely conscious with no sleep prior, and I was in a dream. Guys, it is not easy to do this technique, but I went from fully conscious, no sleep, into a lucid dream. Now, of course, this was because I sat in bed for like 3 hours, not even expecting to do anything. I was just focusing on the colors because they were fun. That's all I knew about the colors when I was little. And all of a sudden, I'm now in this vivid dream scene where I can feel the sun on my face. I am literally in this like wooden canoe by myself at this island, and I remember feeling the water, and I was like, I am dreaming right now. And it was like the most mind-blowing thing ever. And for some reason, I just knew. I was like, well, if I'm dreaming right now, then that must mean that I can create anything, right? And I remember putting out my hand and thinking about a cupcake. I was like, okay, I want to manifest a cupcake. And all of a sudden, bing, perfect cupcake right in my hand. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was so crazy. And even to this day, I will still have a dream or a lucid dream where I am back in that same exact dream. This is why I truly believe the dreams we have are actual worlds and dimensions that we go to. Because I go to the same places. Like, I'll get lucid and be like, yes, I'm back. I don't know if you guys remember the dream place I have in Egypt, where there's like a big tourist building where everyone kind of goes. It looks like a mall. There's tons of places to eat at. And it's kind of just a place where everyone waits for their tour guide to be taken to the Egyptian pyramids, but it's in the jungle. Like, it's like Mayan ruins or something. Anyway, that's the one of the worlds one of the lucid dream worlds that I seem to have, or dream worlds in general. And sometimes I dream of that multiple times. When I get into that dream, I'm like, yes, I'm back at Egypt or whatever. I actually have little titles for the places that I visit in my dream, just in case I want to try to get to one. But anyways, that's why I think these places are real worlds, because we can go back to them time and time again and remember that we've been there before. But anyway, that was my first experience inducing a lucid dream spontaneously, on accident, using the wild method with no prior sleep. And even today, I will still visit that place unintentionally and just pop up there and be like, oh, hey, like, so it's really, really fun to kind of explore the different places that your mind takes you to. Do you have sleep paralysis a lot? Unfortunately, I have sleep paralysis a lot less now than I did when first starting. I love sleep paralysis. I love it so much because it's so interesting. I am someone that just loves to experiment and study different states of consciousness, and I find it so fascinating, especially when it's a really intense experience. Of course, it can get a little bit intense, but I find that so fascinating. So unfortunately, I do get sleep paralysis less now that I really know what I'm doing. But when I really was practicing lucid dreaming every night, I would wake up at 4 in the morning and I would induce a technique. I was getting sleep paralysis every time. But the more you get the hang of it, at least for me and the clients I talk to, you kind of experience sleep paralysis less. And that might mean that you just don't get into it sometimes, or you do, but the sensations are a lot, they're on a lesser scale than before. So, let's see. Is liminal the same as hypnagogic imagery? So yeah, the liminal state is the hypnagogic state, which is before we fall asleep, and the hypnopompic state as we're waking up. So it's different than lucid dreams, which is in the middle of our sleep cycle during REM, but liminal dreaming happens on the edges of sleep. So when we have that kind of sleepy kind of energy where we're kind of dipping in and out of sleep, but we're not fully asleep, that is the liminal state. So good question, Max. I'm trying to start at the beginning. Is it better to focus on rather than getting to sleep paralysis? I would make your goal not to get into sleep paralysis, because then your brain is not going to be able to relax because it has a certain goal it's trying to fulfill, right? So what I would recommend doing is switching the dialogue with that and focusing on creating relaxation. I want to feel relaxed and aware. I'd focus on that, because focusing on relaxation and awareness will take you to sleep paralysis naturally. So it's better to have that goal than just to try to reach sleep paralysis, because then the brain's going to scramble on trying to figure out how to get there. So I would focus on what you need to do to induce sleep paralysis naturally. So I would just focus on getting as relaxed as possible while aware. Even if you are trying to specifically induce lucid dreams, sleep paralysis, or an out-of-body experience, I recommend releasing all pressure with that and just focusing on being relaxed. How grateful you are that you get to even lay here, take some deep breaths, and just relax. How comfortable are you in your bed or your couch, wherever you are laying? I would focus on that, and that will naturally help you progress on getting to sleep paralysis. I would estimate that there is a strong overlap with the two, but yep, exactly. I have dreams of giant cathedral constructed from pure jade and green steel as well. Wow. I'm off the side of a futuristic superhighway though. That's interesting. Wow. I've always wanted, this is one thing I'm going to do with my painting as well. I want to start painting my dream worlds because I would love to be able to kind of like allow others to see inside my mind when it comes to my dreams, because there's such vivid worlds that like I go to over and over, and it's like, oh hey, we're here again, cool. And my dream friends will be waiting there along a lot of the time, and I will see them over and over. They are real beings that are there in these different worlds that I can visit over and over. So I love that you have a dream world that you can visit time and time again, Eric. And that sounds beautiful. Oh my gosh. I can imagine that now. That sounds so cool. And the feeling, like every dream world feels different. Is that the same for you guys? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but every dream has an energy to it. Some are like, it's not like an eerie feeling, but it's like a very specific energy per dream world. I don't know how to explain it, but even if you had your eyes closed, when you were in a lucid dream or a dream, you would know where you are based on how it feels, if that makes sense. That's the best way I can describe it. I had a dream and suddenly I became lucid, but when I started a reality check, that I was looking at a wall clock, but I noticed that the clock never changed. The clock, that's interesting. So with your reality checks, I would highly recommend trying to do more than one every single time you stop to do a reality check. The reason why is because the dream can fool you, and one reality check might look totally normal like it does in waking life, right? And so that might tell your brain, oh, nope, I'm awake. But you always want to have backups. So every time I do a reality check, I do at least 3 different ones at once, and I might do different ones every time. The biggest thing with reality checks is you're trying to see through the illusion of waking life and test your reality. So how does the dream world act different than reality, right? The laws of physics are for sure different. I think we can all agree on that. So that is probably one thing you should focus on when it comes to your reality checks, is testing your physical environment to see through the illusion, to see the illusion of the matrix, you could say. So even one reality check could be me dropping this pen. Okay, that seemed really, really normal. Usually in a lucid dream, it's thought responsive, so I could imagine that this pen would actually float up, and it will, if I'm dreaming. Okay, I'm really going to focus on imagining that it's going to float up instead of falling down. Okay, even with my strong intention, it still acts the same way every time, so that probably means that I'm awake, or at least this reality check passed the test, right? So you can do that even with looking at time. Okay, it's 6 o'clock on the dot on my computer. I'm going to look away. Maybe I'll try to imagine that it's 5 o'clock, because again, if I'm dreaming and it's a thought responsive state, then it will change based on what I believe it will do. Still 6 o'clock. Great. 2 reality checks, passed the test. Maybe we can count our fingers now. And I would try to do that twice if you count your fingers, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because they might look fine the first time, but the dream has a hard time at replicating what it just saw in the dream. So it looks fine right now, but what if I hurry and look back really fast? The dream has such a hard time creating exact, like making it look exactly like it did before you turned around, especially so quickly. It has a really hard time at replicating what you just observed in the dream, especially quickly and precisely. So you can use those to your benefit when doing reality checks. So again, I would try to do at least 3 because that will almost guarantee you that you will get lucid if you make sure to do, 3 at a time. And I would definitely change them up. Use what's in your environment. Don't get stuck with the same reality checks, because then you won't do a reality check if you don't have those specific things with you in the dream, if that makes sense. For example, if you always did your reality checks with your phone, okay, it's 6 o'clock, whatever, let me look away. Okay, great. That's my reality check. But what if you're in a dream but you don't have your phone, and that's the only way that you did a reality check? Then you're probably not going to do a reality check, right? So you want to get used to using whatever is in your environment wherever you are. That means if you have a dream that you're in a completely random place, you'll still be able to do a reality check based off the information that is surrounding you, right? And that's one reason why I always recommend trying to use your hands as one of your reality checks, because you should always have your hands, right? That should be something that you have all the time. So that is a reality check that I would definitely use. Also, plugging your nose and trying to breathe in. The reason why this works is because if you do a reality check in the dream of plugging your nose, you're plugging your dream nose. You're not plugging your physical nose in bed. So you're going to be able to breathe just fine even with plugging your nose if you're dreaming, right? And if you can't breathe at all, then you're probably awake. So it's just learning how these environments work and using them to your advantage to see if you can see through the illusion of waking life or the dream. So I hope that makes sense. I think I nearly fell into sleep paralysis a few days ago. My whole body was falling to sleep and it was hard to move my arms. I got a bit scared, so I tried screaming. I heard a loud scream come out of my mouth while my jaw was vibrating, but I didn't scream out loud. What was this all about? Jason, that was for sure sleep paralysis. Next time, okay, I'm going to show you guys a trick. I'm going to show you how to get out of sleep paralysis, and also what to do when you're in sleep paralysis if you want to turn it into a technique. So, I never recommend bailing on sleep paralysis. My nose is so itchy. I definitely don't recommend bailing out of sleep paralysis, because number one, it can induce beautiful experiences, right? Like lucid dreams, out-of-body experiences. But also, you're conquering fear. You're facing the illusion of fear. And you're allowing yourself to observe without judgment. When we are scared, we are judging the experience, right? So it's not that the experience was actually terrifying, Jason. It was your perception of the experience. So what if I told you that was sleep paralysis and you were minutes or seconds away from a lucid dream or an out-of-body experience? What if I told you that what happened is a natural part of your biology, and it happens naturally every single night, 5 to 6 times, without you being aware of it because you're asleep? It kind of takes the fear out of it, right? Because you know the sensations are 𝑴𝒚𝒔𝒕𝒊𝒄'𝒔 or sleep paralysis. This happens naturally 5 to 6 times a night. You will know why we feel that heaviness on our chest. It's not because someone's holding you down. It's because when we are sleeping, we need less oxygen in the body, so our diaphragm will slightly collapse. And if we become conscious of this, we're going to feel like we're suffocating, but actually the body's just doing what it does every single night naturally. We're just usually asleep, so we don't get to see the process of the body sleeping. So we're just bringing consciousness to a process that happens naturally every single night. So even if you feel like you can't breathe, it's because you naturally breathe a lot more shallow when you're sleeping, because our body doesn't need to take in as much air. I also notice that I get a wave of cold chills when I'm going into sleep paralysis, and that's because when you're asleep, your body temperature slightly drops as well. So now we take the fear out of it, Jason, and we look at it from an experimental and scientific point of view, and that will allow our perception to switch, which will allow our emotions about the experience to switch, which will change the results of the actual experience. So I know that was a mouthful, but what you experienced was totally natural. It was sleep paralysis, right? But now I want to show you a way that if you must, or you don't want to have sleep paralysis and you just want to bail out and you want to go to sleep, or maybe it's too much and you just want it to stop, I'm going to show you how to stop it. Now, everything is paralyzed in sleep paralysis aside from your respiratory system and your eyes. So if you want to bail out of sleep paralysis, if you want sleep paralysis to stop, since we have a respiratory system that's working, you're going to try to create a s noise. Now, what this does when you go in sleep paralysis, you're slightly moving the diaphragm, right? When you go, you can feel your stomach going in. That's going to tell the body that you're actually awake. Usually we try to wake ourselves up in sleep paralysis by moving or trying to scream or move our arms, but those muscles are paralyzed. So we have to use the muscle that's not paralyzed, which is our respiratory system. So you're going to make that S sound, and you're going to feel your diaphragm going in, and that should help wake you up out of sleep paralysis if you want to bail for sure. But I would definitely recommend bringing awareness to it, relaxing, and surrendering and letting go. Because eventually you'll get to a point where you've messed up sleep paralysis so many times and regretted it after that you're like, you know what, I don't even care anymore. I'm going to completely surrender. I'm going to completely let go. Just going to let whatever happen. And all of a sudden, it's a lot easier and we can induce an out-of-body experience or a lucid dream because we took the mind out of it. We took the fear out of it and the emotion out of it. We just surrendered to what was happening as it was happening. So that is a way that's explaining what sleep paralysis is. That's also explaining how to stop sleep paralysis if you need to. But Jason, here's what you should do if you want to have an experience when you're in sleep paralysis. And this can go for anybody listening as well, obviously. Completely relax. Do not try to move. Do not try to change your breath. It is normal to breathe very shallow. I promise you're not in danger. You are not suffocating. Your body knows what it is doing, I promise. We're just conscious of it, and we feel like we have to control it. But I promise you, you're okay. So let your breathing happen how it wants to happen, and it will probably feel a lot more shallow than you're used to, and that's okay. Now, to induce an out-of-body experience through sleep paralysis, you want to focus on the sensation of movement. This helps confuse the brain because now you're focusing on a movement that's not actually happening on the physical body. But again, the brain can't tell the difference between something we're imagining and something that's actually happening. So if you imagine that you're on a hammock when you're in sleep paralysis, your brain is going to think that you're actually on a hammock and you're going to feel that movement. And that is how we move our energy body, our astral body. Our energy body and our thought body are the same. So if you practice moving your physical body with thought, you are actually shaking up your energy body, and that will help you project out of your physical body. Now, that's one of my favorite ways to do it is by imagining movement or imagining slipping out of my bed. And you will feel the sensation of doing that, and it will probably feel intense the first time you do it. But I promise you, it is completely safe. You're completely safe. So with an out-of-body experience through sleep paralysis, you want to imagine movement. When it comes to a lucid dream, I focus on the visual aspect. So for astral projection, I focus on the sensation you can also imagine like standing on the other side of the room and like looking at a different point of view, and you can actually like wake up in your out of body from that point of view you're imagining. So you can totally use visualization as well, but sensation is so important when it comes to inducing an out of body experience. So definitely make sure to do that. And when it comes to a lucid dream, I imagine visualizing and seeing a dream scene really, really clearly. And then, of course, you can add some sensations into that. So astral projection, I feel, is sensation focused with added visualization. If you're inducing a lucid dream from sleep paralysis, it's visualization focused with sensation added in. Hope that makes sense. And you basically are creating a world that's more vivid than what you feel as you're laying in bed. That's really all of it is. So I hope that helped, Jason, and I hope that helped everyone listening to kind of know what sleep paralysis is, let you know that the sensations are normal, how to stop sleep paralysis, and also how to turn it into either a lucid dream or an out-of-body experience. So, and also, guys, you can induce an out-of-body experience through a lucid dream as well. And I do have a few videos on that at least, and I'll have to get into that in the future as well. But it's kind of the same concept. If you're in a lucid dream and you want to turn it into an out-of-body experience, focus on the sensation of kind of separating from your body. You can even imagine the sensation of like your body laying in bed. Say you're lucid and you want to induce an out-of-body experience. Can you feel your physical body laying in bed? Can you feel the pillow on your face? Can you feel the blankets? Can you try to hear things in your environment? Because you know you're sleeping, right, in a lucid dream. So you can actually shift your focus to the real world as well, which we've talked about, is dual body awareness. This is being aware of your dream body and your physical body at the same time. And that can induce an out-of-body experience through the lucid dream state as well. So, that's a lot of info we just packed in there. Not only did we cover liminal dreaming and go through the techniques for that, but we also covered sleep paralysis, inducing lucid dreams, and out-of-body experiences as well. Hey, I don't know if you've noticed, Jason, but it's like been permanently in the back. Like even in my videos, I think that I've had it in here. Don't worry, it's staying with us now. I know how important it was for you to see the mug here, so it is here, and it is here to stay. We'll have to fill it up with some dream tea. Also, little surprise here. Do you guys remember my amazing client and friend, Aaron Walker from Higher Alignment? We just did a live video not too long ago on my channel. He's actually sending me some amazing products, and we're actually going to be giving away some dream tea. He has some really amazing dream tea that he makes with tons of dream herbs in it, and it's seriously so powerful. And he's sending me some extra so I can give some away to my community. So there will be a giveaway soon. Just wanted to let you guys know, so keep up for that. And there will probably be other prizes that I put in the prize pool as well, but that's one thing that I for sure know is there will be some dream tea that we'll be able to give away, some lucid dream tea. So I'm very, very excited. I will give you guys some more info soon on how to enter the giveaway. It will kind of be what we did last time for those of you who were here for like the 10K giveaway. We're almost at 14,000 subscribers already, which is so crazy. I feel like it was just a few months ago where we just celebrated hitting 10,000 subscribers on the channel and we did a giveaway, and now we're almost at 14,000 subscribers already. So that is so awesome. So we will be doing another giveaway because I really want to give back to you guys, and I really want you guys to also try some of Aaron's amazing tea as well, because it's really good. I've been having it pretty much every day and it's great. Aaron is awesome. We're actually going to be coming out with some classes together soon as well. So if anyone has been joining in on the master classes that I have been doing, there will be a similar structure to those master classes, but I will be doing some cool things with Aaron for you guys as well. So I'll be giving you guys some of the information on that soon. Eric, there will be so many more, like especially now that I'm getting back into painting. There's so many things that I'm starting to create. There's going to be a lot more giveaways and a lot more things to give away. And for those who support me either on my YouTube memberships or Patreon, there will be exclusive giveaways for you guys as well. So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited for that. Does anybody have any questions about kind of what we talked about today? I know it was kind of a lot of information, but it just feels so good to be back. It feels so good to talk about this again. I am also completely revamping my practice. I have pretty much allowed myself to start my practice with a completely fresh mind and work my way up again. After 3 months of hibernation and grieving and, you know, working through all these emotions, I am ready to start my practice with a fresh mind, and I would love to kind of hear about where you guys are in your practice as well. And please, guys, if you guys are not joined in on my, my Facebook group, Haylee Lynn's Lucid Dream Team, or my Telegram chat, please feel free to join both or either one, because you can share your experiences in there. You can ask questions, receive updates, and some things that I don't even post about on any other platform kind of a lot of the time goes in my Telegram. So kind of a way to continue the conversation, because I am definitely in Telegram a lot. And I do a bit of coaching in there as well, and kind of a lot of things. We talk about a lot of things in there, and a lot of us, I just posted some interesting dreams not too long ago, but if you ever need assistance on the symbolism in your dreams, or maybe you have a nightmare that you kind of want to talk about, it's a great place to post either in the Facebook group or in the Telegram chat. Does lucid dream help / cure feelings of loneliness? Absolutely, because it helps you get to the core of the issues. A lot of us are trying to deal with anxiety or depression, but what's interesting, if you go into the lucid dream and you call to meet your anxiety or your depression, not only are you going to be able to work with that, but it's going to show you the root cause of when it happened, why it happened, and what you need in order to heal or kind of improve that part of your psyche. So not only can it really help with that pro-Joker, but it can help you get to the root issues of problems that you may have not seen before. The lucid dream state is your best therapist. Like, it really is. It really, really is a state of self-development and self-therapy. I call it lucid dream therapy because it really is that way, especially if you use it for more than just fun or flying. You can absolutely meet any archetype of yourself. So, subconscious mind, I want to meet my loneliness. I want to meet my anxiety, my anger, my inner creativity, my creative block, right? Some of us think we have a creative block, but a lot of the time there's something else going on that is causing us to feel less creative. So the lucid dream state allows you to kind of face your own stuff on a deeper level and heal yourself from the inside out, which is why I really, it's what I really enjoy. Yeah, Jamal, we're almost done here. Totally fine. The amazing things about these live streams is there's always a replay, but sometimes I am a little late to my lives, but we will be starting 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the dot, okay? Give or take a couple minutes every once in a while, but if anyone is even new here and you want to know the normal time that I stream, it is Mondays at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you need to know the time difference, it is 6:19 here now, so that will kind of tell you what time zone I am in. Now I have a lot of things that I'm going to start creating on my channel, which I'm so excited about. Again, we are going to be bringing back like nightly sleep music, but also there's going to be a daily video as well. So you guys, most of the days are going to be getting 2 videos a day. One that's like a how-to video or like an educational video like I usually do, and then there will be a sleep track for you guys to sleep to at night. I will also be doing shorts again. I haven't posted on TikTok in forever. I will be doing that again as well. And I have got a lot of requests for guided meditations and guided breathwork. So we are going to be doing some guided breathwork sessions outside of live videos. So there will actually be posted guided meditations and guided breathwork sessions where you don't have to kind of listen through a whole live stream. It will be an actual its own video. I'm also going to be doing I'm so excited. So I will be posting sleep tracks like I've been doing, but there will be like the first little bit of it will be a guided meditation. So maybe it will still be a 12-hour sleep track, but maybe the first 30 minutes to an hour is me guiding you down into sleep, into the hypnagogic state, and into sleep. That way you get a guided meditation and a sleep track in one. So there's so much that's going to be coming. And again, for those of you who do want to support me on Patreon, or maybe you've been supporting me on my YouTube memberships. Again, the memberships are paused for around another week or so, and I will be building up my Patreon. One benefit to being a YouTube member is you get exclusive access to videos that aren't available to the public. If you subscribe as a patron, you're going to get those same videos. So YouTube members and Patreons are going to have pretty much the same benefits. It just depends on which platform you'd rather be on, honestly. But I just want to let you guys know that I am revamping my Patreon, and I've already got so many workshops, so many videos that I've already made for members that are going to be going onto my Patreon. So if you are a patron or you're thinking about becoming a patron, you're you are going to see a lot of new content pretty much now. I am literally doing that right after this live video, so very excited for that. Have you been to the museum lately? Is it the one in Egypt that we were talking about? Because if you are talking about like the Egyptian like tourist museum type thing, we were just talking about that earlier. So if that's what you're talking about, that dream place that I have, that dream world in Egypt, we were literally just talking about that before you came. Haven't been there for a little bit. My dreams have been really odd lately. I've been making a lot of changes to my life, so I've actually been having more stressful dreams than usual, but nightmares are a sign of a healing mind. It means that I am processing the things that I am working through, and I'm kind of clearing those out of my psyche. So I've been making some incredible changes to my life that involve cutting out toxic people, setting up boundaries, and owning my worth, whether it's with friends, family, or clients. And it is definitely affecting my dreams. I have not been there. I know exactly what you're talking about, Jamal, but I have not been there for a little bit because I've been in a very different place in my dreams as I have been working through this grief and setting up boundaries and these changes in my life. So, but again, if you're having nightmares is a sign of a healing mind. So know that it means that you are processing the information that you are working through in your waking life. Dude, you gotta display your big ass mug in your dream museum. It'll attract extraterrestrials all across the universe. You're right. And you know what's weird? For those of you who haven't heard of that dream world that takes place in Egypt, apparently it takes place in Egypt because I can go and see the Egyptian pyramids with my tour guide, but it's almost like a forest. It's like an Amazon forest at the same time. It's like a jungle type thing. But there's this huge cathedral building type thing that's like a tourist spot where everyone goes to kind of wait for their tour guide, and then you can go see the pyramids. What's interesting is once you go in the Egyptian pyramids in my dream, it's like Indiana Jones. There's like traps on the floor, and it's very paranormal. There's like paranormal stuff happening in the pyramids as well. So you kind of have to like run through it. And as you're running through, the tour guide's with you guys, and you're like running through, and the floor is falling apart, the ceiling's falling apart in some parts. There's lots of paranormal activity going on too. It's a very interesting place, this dream world that I have. But I haven't been there for a while, but I definitely love it. What does your tour guide look like again? Do they symbolize anything important in your life? So my tour guide actually looks like Bear Grylls. And it may be Bear Grylls because I remember that he was a tour guide in one of my other dreams that required us to like climb up a like raging river, and I remember like almost falling off the slippery rocks, but the people below me were like pushing me up. I have really weird dreams. I go on these crazy adventures and excursions, but Bear Grylls was my tour guide in that dream, and this guy has the same energy as Bear Grylls. So for you guys who don't know who Bear Grylls is, he's the dude on Man vs. Wild. So I think he's my tour guide, which is fine. What a better tour guide to go on an excursion with in the wilderness. Like, I'd feel pretty safe with Bear Grylls. But I think, Jason, that's a great question. To me, Bear Grylls, he represents independence to me. Because he's very independent. He can be in the middle of nowhere and survive off of nothing, and he doesn't need anyone else. And so I think, now that you say it, he does represent independence. And maybe the aspect of going on adventures and excursions is like me creating my own independence in my life to explore. And explore doesn't necessarily mean having to travel. It could mean exploring in my own mind. Who knows? Jason, let us know. Let us know how it goes. I had a bad dream recently, but I know it was because of Interesting. Have you guys ever heard of cheese dreams before? Apparently cheese induces extremely odd dreams. And cheese can also, if you are a sleepwalker, cheese can also induce sleepwalking. So, if you guys have heard of cheese dreams or had any weird experiences with cheese, that'd be interesting to hear about. Just made me think of it by what you said, Jamal. That's interesting. See, and when we have certain types of dreams, this is why it's really important to experiment. Like, what did I do differently to induce this kind of dream experience? What did I eat that was differently than I usually eat? How could that have affected my dreams? What time did I go to bed? Was there anything odd about this day that could have influenced my dreams? Lucid dreaming is not just about like paying attention to what happens during sleep, but it's a lifestyle. Every moment of your life really does impact the way that we dream as well. So I know, right? Don't worry. Don't worry. Baloney causes weird dreams. That's interesting. Does anybody have any other like weird dream triggers? Like cheese, seems like bologna is one. I'm trying to think for me. I think that cheese used to be one for me. But I am vegan now, so I don't eat like cheese, except I do miss Parmesan. Parmesan was like my guilty pleasure. But I did notice some odd, weird dreams with cheese in particular. Wow, I see beauty of shiny light in your eyes. I love you. Keep going. Halo, thank you so much. It has felt good to kind of come out of the dark place that I've been for 3 months. That's why I haven't really been posting at all anywhere. But I'm definitely starting to come back. And it feels really good. So thank you for seeing me, my friend. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate you, Halo. I've heard melatonin causes. Now, melatonin, there's kind of a misconception with melatonin. It doesn't actually improve your sleep. And it can actually disrupt your sleep cycle. It actually has nothing to do with helping you get to sleep. Melatonin is used to regulate your sleeping cycle. So it has nothing to do with having insomnia or anything. Just regulating your sleep cycle. But our body doesn't really need melatonin because it can produce it naturally by being in a dark space. And if we increase our melatonin, we can increase our serotonin production and vice versa. So just being in a dark room before you go to bed or putting a sleeping mask on can produce natural melatonin, which could help you fall asleep quicker. Melatonin, when we take supplements, there's so much melatonin in such a small condensed supplement that the body doesn't really know what to do with all that melatonin. And so it actually just can disrupt our sleeping cycle. What I would recommend for anyone who does have insomnia or maybe have a harder time sleeping than others is I'd recommend getting valerian root. And I do have a affiliate link to that in the description as well. Basically, an affiliate link is just a way to support the channel while still purchasing a product. So any links in the chat, or no, any links in the description I have for products are affiliate links. So there is one for valerian root. I use that anytime I can't sleep. If I know I'm going to be awake and I know I'm going to feel wired, then I'll take like 2 tablets of valerian root like 2 hours before bed. And I feel tired at a normal time, and it's great because I am a very huge night owl. I can stay up until like 9 in the morning sometimes. Sometimes I do that because I get really into my art or whatever I'm doing. But valerian helps me correct that if I ever have a hard time getting to sleep on time. Yeah, and that's also why turkey, actually, that's also why people get sleepy after eating turkey, because tryptophan, the body kind of turns into natural melatonin. So if you want to fall asleep quicker, look for things that have tryptophan in it. What's hard for me is being such a character and then expecting anything to be out of place when I have strange dreams. That's why, like, it takes some awareness practices in waking life to see through dreams, like to be able to see through illusions when we are dreaming. Because sometimes we'll dream and it looks completely normal, right? And so our brain doesn't even think anything is wrong. But we need to preemptively learn to challenge what we see when we do reality checks, and that will kind of help us bring more awareness into the dreams. I totally get what you mean, Eric. Like, I've had really, really odd dreams where it should have told me as well, like, this was for sure a dream. This would never, never happen. But because I didn't have enough awareness and I didn't kind of preemptively practice that awareness of challenging what I saw beforehand, I kind of missed an opportunity to get lucid. So this is why lucid dreaming is almost like a philosophy, a way of life. It's a lifestyle because it requires attention in our waking life as well. If we just paid attention to lucid dreaming when we were sleeping, we would never get lucid. We need the day to practice creating that awareness naturally. I believe it because I had whole pizza and other dairy-related foods around the time that I had that dream. So maybe it is kind of like a cheese dream. Glad to see you. It's been a while, and you sound and look well. Thank you, Warren. It is definitely so good to be back. I am so excited to be chatting with you guys again. Also, there is a way, I don't know, I'm sure most of you guys know about my series, but I do host monthly masterclasses. So if you're ever looking for, to connect outside of YouTube, maybe you would like to attend a class and you're not ready for like one-on-one coaching with me yet or anything, there are monthly classes that you can join in on. So let me show you. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Does this work? Okay, great. So these are the classes that we have done so far and the classes that are coming up. We just did the liminal states class, so that was on liminal dreaming on the 5th of January. The next class is going to be February 5th, and that is regarding neuroplasticity, how we can reprogram our brain and create new habits and break habits in the lucid dream state. So that's going to be February 5th. And then we, of course, the next month we are doing, we're talking about shadow work in the lucid dream, how to connect with the inner child and do inner child work through the lucid dream, how to manifest through the lucid dream, whether it's manifesting something in the dream or using the dream to manifest something in waking reality using quantum physics. We're going to talk about that on May 5th. And then, of course, how we can use nightmares for healing, June 5th. And then we're going to end it with physical healing on July 5th, which, as you guys know, that is my favorite thing to talk about because I was able to heal an incurable digestive issue that completely took over my life. So these are the classes that we are doing now. When they finish, there will be a new set of classes that will go on for about a year, just like this one is. We have 11 classes here. Anyone who is in this series will get an amazing discount on the next series that we do. But I don't want you to feel like you have to get into the whole series. Every single individual masterclass you saw there, you can enroll in separately, or you can join in for the entire series, so you are guaranteed to have all the classes, lifetime access. So if you guys have questions about that, if you have questions on how to join, please don't hesitate to send me a message. That could be through Telegram, that could be an email, that could be through Facebook, and I will help you get set up, whether it's a couple of those classes or you'd like to join in on the entire series. I would love to have you there. And if you do decide to join for the entire series, you will get access to all the classes that we've already done. So you don't have to worry about missing any classes that have already happened. Don't know if you guys can hear that high-pitched noise out there. I hope not. But someone's brakes or something are not serving them outside on their car. Okay, there we go. It stopped. But anyway, just an update on how to get into those classes, because we did stop them for a couple months, but I wanted to revisit it because we are back in the groove, baby, and I'm so excited. Let's see. I was getting chased down by a huge, incredible Hulk-built guy. Right before he was about to break my wall and attack me, I woke up. I don't have dreams like that unless I eat terribly. That's interesting. What do you think the symbolism is behind that? Maybe it's not even about a specific thing that you're eating, but just the eating terribly part. Do you think that connects to your dream content there? That's interesting. What do you believe this big Hulk guy symbolizes along with the wall trying to protect you from him? Yeah, that's interesting. There's for sure symbolism all throughout that, Jamal. All throughout that. Speaking of food-induced dreams, I forgot to ask a while ago, how do you feel about fasting for growth? I love fasting. I do what's called intermittent fasting. So I give myself an 8-hour eating window every single day to eat. And then the rest of the time I'm fasting. So between 1 p.m. and 9 p.m., that is my eating window. And then the rest of the time I am fasting. And it allows my body to digest so much quicker. I have more energy and I have more vivid dreams because my body isn't being kind of held down by food that I eat before bed or something that was super, super heavy. So I definitely love fasting. Again, intermittent fasting is a daily thing. I have that 8-hour eating window. And then once a month, I do like a 2-day juice fast or a water fast or something. And that's kind of just to reset my metabolism. And so it actually really helps my, the quality of like my skin has improved. My hair has also been growing a lot quicker. I have less digestive issues. And I have more vivid, crisp dreams because I do that fasting. And, forgot the last one I was going to say. But definitely, definitely a lot of benefits from fasting. So, but of course, be careful and listen to your body. That is the most important thing. No, nachos sound so good. Today I've had sweet potato fries, curry with rice. I've pretty much had curry for the past like 3 days. It's very good. I love curry. But anyways, I got a rice cooker and I've been addicted to it. So I've just been making tons of curry and like Indian dishes and stuff. I became lucid in a dream once by telling someone this has to be a dream, you're dead. Interesting. You know what's weird? I actually had this really odd experience maybe like 2 years ago, and I would, like I said, I would wake myself up every single night at like 4 a.m. to induce a lucid dream or an out-of-body experience. I woke up like normal, and then I stay up for a few minutes, and then I lay back down on my back, and then I just breathe. I went into this dream where Chance came in and sat on the bed, which he would if I tell him I am practicing lucid dreaming or inducing an out-of-body experience, he knows to not go in the room, nothing. Like, when I say I am meditating, it means I am meditating and I am not available. So in my dream, like, it's weird how dreams blend like real situations that just happened, because I woke up, told Chance, okay, I'm gonna go meditate, and it's 4 a.m. I'm gonna go try to induce an experience, so don't come in. And then I went into a dream once I went back to bed, and he literally came in and just sat on the bed, which again he would never do. So I looked at him, I was like, I know you're not real, this is a dream. And then he just like stared at me and froze. And it's really weird when you like become lucid and you tell a dream character like, I know this is a dream or something. They just like freeze and it just becomes really weird. And then boom, all these vibrations just hit me. It's like once you have the awareness that you're in a dreaming experience, everything turns on like full throttle, like full on vibrations, like auditory hallucinations, like the feeling of like slipping out of your body. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I get like really, really intense sensations when I become conscious in a dream that's in a reality that just happened. Does that even make sense? It's just like if you go back to bed and you literally have a false awakening right where you left off. It's the same thing. It's like blending your reality with what just happened in the dream world. Does that make sense? Ooh. Wow. Well, that sounds crazy. I love samosas. I live in Salt Lake-ish, and there's this place here called Saffron Valley, and it is my favorite Indian place. It is so good. To be honest, I'm not sure what it symbolizes at the moment. It could be a number of different things, but it didn't happen after a 3-day fast from carbs. I think it could have something to do with that, because think about what the Hulk represents, right? And then how our eating habits could be different from, like, for example, someone could see the Hulk in their dream, or like a bodybuilder, and that could represent health or lifestyle. And if we were just eating something that maybe that didn't make us feel good, maybe there's a connection between the message of what it's trying to say. That's how I would personally take it. But of course, your subconscious is speaking to you. It is writing you letters based off how you think and what you believe. So I definitely tune into that. How long should I do breath work before bed? Inhale, hold, 13, exhale, 5 minutes, 15. Whatever feels comfortable, the longer the better. I would at least try 10 minutes. At least try 10 minutes. Holotropic breath work is amazing before bed. Another thing, if you ever have insomnia or you feel like you can't sleep due to stress, a lot of the time it's with how we breathe. How we breathe is actually connected to our lifespan. There's a reason why dogs, for example, pass on a lot quicker than tortoises, who breathe a lot less than dogs. It all is how we breathe. And if we breathe super rapidly, the more breaths we have per minute, you're sending a signal to your brain that you're in danger. Like if you went for several minutes, you would get put into a panic attack that you can't get out of, because you're constantly sending a signal to your brain, oh, we're in danger, we're in danger, we're in danger. So to combat that, you can tell your brain that you're actually relaxed and you're safe by maybe taking in a deep breath and literally tricking your brain to induce a feeling of relaxation so you can sleep better. So how you breathe is how you will live, and it is how you will sleep. So definitely becoming conscious of your breath as much as possible is highly recommended, especially before bed if you've had trouble sleeping. As long as you take time to breathe, then I would definitely, that's amazing. So whatever feels comfortable, but I at least do at least 10 minutes, or I do it until I fall asleep. And there's a million different types of breath work you can use, but if you're doing breath work when you're waking up, I would recommend the more fast-paced breath work like Breath of Fire or Wim Hof. And before bed, I would try maybe holotropic breath work, or even just a couple minutes of that. So there will be different types of breath work based on if you're trying to wake yourself up and feel energized, or if you're trying to tell the body it's okay to calm down. We're ready to relax and chill out. So I hope that helps. Yes, I have dreamed of gliding, like right above the ground. I remember that was one of my first dreaming experiences of flying, is flying barely above the ground. And now I can, like, if I'm not flying, I can kind of jump and do these long, huge jumps in my dream. So most of the time I can fly just fine. But there have been times where I can jump and it will basically be me flying. These huge, huge, huge jumps. So that it's interesting. There's different types of flying that I experience in my dreams. I don't know, Marcus. I'll have to look it up. I know there's different names for different types of breathwork, so maybe I have. Oh, lion's breath. Okay, I thought you literally meant lion's breath. I was like, oh, never heard of that. Yes, lion's breath. Absolutely. That is a great way to detox the body, especially because we can push out all excess air. We can stick our tongue out, and we can create a lot of warmth in the body. So lion's breath is something that I do a lot in yoga. I thought you meant Lynn's breath. I was like, oh, never heard of it. Let me look it up. You got to break down how you learned how to drive using lucid dreaming. I'm very interested in using lucid dreaming to help build skills in physical reality. I have so many ideas surrounding that. That is actually going to be a class that we are talking about. It's actually the next class. So February 5th, we're going to be talking about dreams of neuroplasticity, which is how to rewire our brain and how to practice physical skills. So if you are interested in that class, Jamal, I would love to have you join. Again, that is February 5th. It happens in a private Facebook group, and I will add you guys to that Facebook group, and we will be able to chat live in our little private community. So I love that you asked that question, because that's actually the next class that we are doing. Again, you guys can enroll in individual classes or the entire series, but basically when it came to driving for me specifically, it was just the experience. I was behind a wheel before, like I had driven before that, so I knew what it felt like to be in a vehicle, and I was able to actually induce different scenarios to help me get better at driving. So I'd be able to induce a wet road, extra traffic. I would be able to create a packed parking lot that I could practice pulling into and parking in between cars. So it's such a real experience. And again, the brain is learning as we are in the lucid dream because the brain doesn't know that we're dreaming, which is why it's been shown that athletes can actually use the lucid dream state to practice skills and actually improve in skill. It works the same way with all of us, with tons of different practices that we want to practice within the dream. So it's very helpful because it's a real life simulation, but we can change the circumstances to help us learn quicker and under harsh conditions, if that makes sense. Pay attention to tech giants. I'm sure that there will be training simulators in the next few years where people get weeks worth of experience in a few hours time. Yeah, absolutely. And even with lucid dreaming, whatever we practice in the lucid dream state, it's 7 to 9 times more powerful than in the waking state. Think about that. How cool is that? We can learn 7 to 9 times quicker than if we did it in the waking state. And this is because when we're lucid dreaming, we are inside of the subconscious mind. When we're conscious, it's the same way we have to try to tell ourselves thoughts over and over to help it become a habit. We have to bypass the conscious mind and enter the subconscious. But when we're lucid dreaming, the conscious mind is turned off. We are in the subconscious mind. So we can implement habits much quicker from the lucid dream state. So whatever you practice in the lucid dream state, you'll wake up and feel like you had a lot more practice than you actually have. Even if you spend 5 minutes practicing it in the lucid dream, it will feel like at least a few hours of practice. Very, very cool. Yeah, I don't think it's very far, Eric. I think, especially with where they're taking virtual reality, I feel like this hopefully will give the dream state more exposure. It's funny because Chance was telling me, oh, you gotta use a VR headset. I've used it before, but he's like, it's so real. It's like nothing you'll ever experience. I'm like, oh. Even though virtual reality is super, super fun, to me, it does not compare at all to lucid dreaming. And for those that think it's more vivid than that, I don't think have had lucid dreams. It is the most vivid form of virtual reality we can experience. So I hope that this kind of opens people's mind up more to lucid dreaming. I remember he was telling me, it feels so real. It's like, we have gotten into so many discussions about this because Chance is not a dreamer. He can't even remember to write his dreams down, and I've bothered him for years to try to lucid dream, to write his dreams down, to decipher his symbolism, and he's just not really about it. But I'm hoping that eventually he will have a random spontaneous lucid dream and he will be like, oh my gosh, this is what you were talking about the whole time. I'm like, yes, you're welcome. Hey, I'm new to this. I started sleeping in a hammock because of back problems, and I think it keeps me from moving. Oh, that would actually help you because you can tune into the sensation of movement, and that's actually a technique, is laying in bed and imagining that you're sleeping in a hammock. So that would probably actually help you have an out-of-body experience and lucid dream. VR is still in its early stages, but I wonder how advanced it will be in 10 to 20 years from now. I can't even imagine where technology will be in 10 to 20 years. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I wonder where dream technology will be as well in 10 to 20 years. We just discovered, we scientifically verified lucid dreaming in the 70s, which really was not that far away, right? So I'm hoping that there's more exposure to the dream world and we can start to create more interesting technology that will allow us to create a closer relationship with our dreams. If we're going to technologically advance, I think it should be within things that kind of help natural circumstances or experiences that we have, if that makes sense. Very interesting. Very trippy to think about where it will actually be in 10 to 20 years. Not that far out, actually. Alright, guys. I love you. I gotta go set up my Patreon perks. But it is so good to chat with you guys again. I love seeing you guys and hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Again, if this is your first time here, welcome to the Dream Fam. There will be lots of content. We're going to have sleep tracks. We're going to have shorts. We're going to have how-to videos, guided meditations, breathwork sessions, and we're going to have monthly workshops, which we just talked about earlier. And of course, there are tons of ways to connect with me, whether you want to work one-on-one with me, whether you want to take an online course that I've created, whether you want to join in on these live monthly workshops that we do, or maybe you just want to connect to the community in our Facebook group or in the Telegram chat. There's a million ways to connect with me in the community. I love you all so much. We will be back Monday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and there will be content that is consistently released. So, very exciting. What's your best introduction video for a newbie? I actually created a playlist on my channel. If you go onto my channel and you go to playlists, you will see a playlist called For Beginners. I would absolutely recommend checking out that playlist because that is a playlist if you are new to dreaming, learning about sleep, lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, and liminal dreaming. So I'd definitely check out the beginners playlist. And hopefully that will get you going. And of course, if you guys have any questions, you can join in on the groups. Or of course, if you'd like to work with me, you can get in touch with me through Facebook, my email. It's not very hard to get in touch with me, so I'm sure that you guys can find me if you are wanting to work together in some capacity. I love you guys so much. Absolutely. And thank you for joining. I'll check it out. Sounds good. And don't forget about those monthly workshops. We have a workshop every single month to help you advance in your dreaming journey. So one-on-one sessions, online courses, and live workshops are the best ways to work with me right now. Love you guys. I will see you next Monday and stay tuned for content this week. As always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity. Bye, my friends.